There are moments when your mind refuses to rest, even when nothing is happening. The body is still, yet something inside remains alert, as if it is waiting for a signal that never fully comes. A subtle vigilance, a quiet readiness, and over time the state begins to feel normal. Almost like a background noise you forgot how to question. Anxiety rarely arrives as something loud at first. It begins in small shifts, a thought that lingers a little longer, a sensation that doesn't fully settle, a feeling that something is not quite right. Even when you cannot explain why, the mind starts to move ahead of the present. It scans the future, trying to anticipate outcomes, trying to prevent discomfort before it happens. Not because something is wrong with you, but because your system learned that anticipation feels safer than uncertainty. Uncertainty is difficult for the human mind. It leaves open spaces, and the mind often tries to fill those spaces with predictions. What if something goes wrong? What if I can't handle it? What if this feeling doesn't stop? At the same time, the body listens. Even when the thoughts feel distant, the body responds. Breathing becomes shorter. Muscles hold tension. The chest feels tight. The stomach reacts. The nervous system shifts into a state of preparation. And in a way, it does. Your system is trying to protect you. It is prioritizing safety. But sometimes it cannot distinguish between real danger and imagined possibility. This is why anxiety can feel confusing. There is no clear threat, nothing visible to confront, yet the experience is real. The discomfort is real. Over time, you may begin to change your behavior. You might avoid certain places, conversations, or decisions. But as a way to reduce the internal tension, avoidance brings relief. But the mind learns from that. It begins to associate relief with escape, and discomfort with something that must be avoided. There is also a deeper layer that is often unnoticed. It is not only the situation that creates anxiety, it is the belief about your ability to face it. When that question remains unanswered, the mind tries to compensate. It plans, it rehearses, it imagines scenarios. It tries to prepare for every possible outcome. But this effort has no clear endpoint, because the future keeps expanding. And the more you try to control it, the more possibilities appear. This is where fatigue begins. Not necessarily from what you do, but from what you are constantly trying to manage internally. The thinking, the anticipating, the monitoring. Even moments of rest can feel incomplete. Because the mind does not fully disengage. It stays partially active, partially prepared. It is important to understand something here. Anxiety is not a sign that something is broken inside you. It is a sign that your protective system is active, sometimes too active. Trying to eliminate anxiety completely often creates more tension, because it turns the experience into something to fight. And the more you resist it, the more attention it receives. A different approach begins with noticing. Noticing without urgency. Noticing without trying to immediately change what you feel. Recognizing the moment your mind starts to move ahead. Recognizing when your body shifts into tension. Recognizing the patterns that repeat. This awareness does not remove anxiety instantly, but it creates space. small distance between you and the automatic reaction. Within that space, something changes. The response becomes less immediate, less rigid. You begin to see that a thought is just a thought, that a sensation, while uncomfortable, is not dangerous, that the present moment is often less threatening than the mind suggests. This does not mean everything becomes easy. Uncertainty will still exist. But your relationship with these experiences can change. You do not need to predict everything. You do not need to eliminate every possibility of discomfort. There is a quieter form of stability, one that does not depend on certainty. It comes from staying with yourself, even when the mind becomes unsettled, even when the body feels tense. It is the ability to remain present without needing immediate resolution. And over time, your system begins to learn something new. Not that the world is entirely safe, but that you are capable of existing within it. Capable of feeling discomfort without being defined by it. And sometimes that shift is enough to soften the intensity, enough to slow the cycle, enough to create moments of real rest. You may still feel anxious, but you are no longer completely inside it. There is space, there is awareness, there is a quiet sense that you can stay. And in that space, something steady begins to form, and that presence can carry you, even when your mind feels unsteady.